That's a lot of colors. I'm trying to design a piece for John.
Who?
John. My husband, John.
Oh, yes. The man.
Right. Well, I've been wanting to make him a cabinet for his whiskeys for some time now, and I think I have the right piece, but
you're filled with anxiety and doubt.
yeah.
What if he doesn't like it?
Right.
What if he's secretly disappointed?
Yes.
What if you cannot sum up the entirety of your feelings for him with this one crazy on?
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, it's pretty ridiculous.
No, darling, it's not ridiculous at all.
It's not?
No, and if you cannot perfect this, darling, I think it spells utter doom.
All right.
Clearly, the quality of your feelings must be evident in the design of this bar.
Okay.
I think it's safe to say the entire future of your marriage rests upon the outcome of this single project.
All right. Thank you so much.
You know you can count on me, darling. I'm always here for you.
Yep.
So don't blow it.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy. Welcome to Furniture Fables. Performance anxiety. Every artist must grapple with this little demon at some point or another. And for the furniture artist, this may come in the form of creating something special for someone they love. Sweet and simple enough on paper, but in reality, the veritable Olympics of emotional balancing acts. And so why? Why sail into such potentially treacherous waters? Well, we all know why.
This fable actually starts with the ending of another fable, the story of this little Thomasville bar I did about a year ago. And my husband, John, later shared with me that he kind of regretted I had sold. With his growing interest in fine whiskeys, mostly I think he was kind of intrigued at the idea of having a nice bar dedicated to his growing collection. Ever since that light had dawned in my brain, I had been on the lookout for a piece to work on for him. I had in mind maybe something Jacobean or Art Deco, but most of the pieces I was finding were a bit big for what we wanted. But then I stumbled upon this lovely, smaller cabinet listed for sale as part of a larger moving sale on the marketplace. I watched it for a week or so and then decided to purchase it for the asking $30. It has no maker marks that I can find, but based on its style and condition, I'd estimate it is close to being an official antique, most likely made in the 1930s. You can see its beautiful Jacobean style base, albeit a little worse for wear, and its glass door, currently sporting a Home Depot pull, give the piece this lovely height and display ability for a bar. John had always been intrigued by this one. He called it a study in lines, which I found to be the perfect description for this little cabinet. And although you can see that the piece's joints were no longer sitting correctly, it had somehow settled into a spot it liked and felt solidly happy when it was standing. And so I began. I decided to give it a very gentle clean, diluting some simple green in a bucket with water and removing the thin layer of dust and cobwebs the piece had acquired over the years. I knew my next step was to address the top. I started by giving that top veneer a very gentle sanding to remove the old varnish and stain, And then I used a foam abrasive to carefully get into that beautiful crown detail. I did the same thing for those solid wood corner trim pieces, just pausing long enough to remove the glass door. And then I came back in to remove all of the old finish on the base. Now, if you don't have a detail sander like this one, you can absolutely do this work by hand. When a finish is in the state that this one was, you can see it's coming off pretty easily, but you can also see what an incredible help this little sander is when working with a piece like this. The different foam abrasives are amazing, but it's also the size of this power sander. It is a 3x4 size, and so you can see how maneuverable it is, and that is so crucial when you are doing detail sanding like this. Here you can see how quickly and easily it cleans up this very old, very delicate wood trim, and then how it reveals this very ancient burl wood veneer that I hadn't even noticed was there. This piece has this burl wood accent both on the bottom and the top of the cabinet opening. I used the sander to scuff sand the front curved panels and the sides, and then completely removed all of the remaining stain on those feet. So at this point, I wasn't sure what color I wanted to use on the bar, so I decided to break out a couple of colors to try. This is called Santeria Red, and I applied a little bit on the side and the front to see how it would play with that burl veneer that I was really hoping to save. While that first color dried, I started in on those repairs. I used my crafting syringe to glue down the loose pieces of that old veneer, and then I came back in with some wood filler for all of those little chips, as well as that main center crack right in that front piece. And while all of that was drying, I took a look at that front leg injury on this cabinet's base. It almost looks like it's been gnawed on by a little mouse or something. I honestly wasn't sure if I could do a great repair right there, but I decided it would be a good opportunity to try, and that if it didn't come out great, well, I had a pretty forgiving client. I used my amazing mold putty. I've used this before in other fables. It's really easy to work with. You just mix equal amounts of the two different colors together until you get this kind of nice yellow, silly putty kind of consistency. And then I pressed it into the front of that other front leg to make a mold. So after about 20 minutes, I pulled it off, and there you can see we've got a mold of that front piece. Since a repair like this is fairly vulnerable, it's right out in front, you really want to use a super hard 2-part epoxy wood filler. This is Bondo, and it is going to be great for a repair like this. I used a wooden stick to fill up my mold, making sure to press out any air bubbles and also kind of scoop and scrape out any extra that I could before I carefully pushed that full mold onto the injured trim piece. And while that was drying, I got out my little faux wood repair kit by Coconix. I put 4 different shades onto a plastic lid. Oh, hello there. And then I did a little bit of blending so that I could create several different colors to work with. Using a little artist brush, I just started playing with those colors, little by little, dabbing them on over that wood filler. So I have had varying levels of success when I've done faux wood repairs. I am by no means an expert at it, and there are people who really are. They are artists truly at this type of repair. And so while sometimes I feel pretty impressed with the result I get, other times, honestly, it's just kind of okay. This burl wood was, I'll admit, pretty challenging for me to work with. It was old and so therefore kind of dried out, and it had so many colors in it, plus all kinds of movement. But I just took my time adding a little color at a time and not fretting about it looking not perfect. The thing about faux repairs is that while sure, it's fantastic if they do look perfect, they kind of don't actually have to be. They will still be worthwhile. It's still helpful if they can just kind of camouflage that injury. Then before I did any more painting, I did my pre-painting crack check. Yep, that's what I said. If you are applying paint to a piece that was originally in a wood finish, especially if it's an older one like this, you want to look for all of the little itty bitty cracks in veneer or at connection points, and if you can, fill those. These are details you will be so glad that you did when you're finished. They are not noticeable at all with the variation of the natural wood, but they will stick out like sore thumbs once the piece is painted. Here I am using some paintable caulk to fill the spots where the sides and the corner trim pieces meet up. I smooth out the material with my finger and some water, and then wipe away any excess with a damp paper towel. Okay, let's take a look at our leg repair. Ooh, drum roll, please. Ooh, all right, looking pretty good. Now it was time to bust that sander back out and start cleaning up and shaping this repair. So it was looking pretty good, although I was a little bummed I got some Bondo into those groove details. I was worried I was going to do that, and I did. But I know that if they bother me, I can come back in with a little Dremel sander and clean them up. With a detail repair like this one, even my electric ray can't take care of it completely, and so I finished shaping it by hand using this little hand foam sander. I did a quick cleanup of the wood filler I used on those front veneer cracks, and then I did a paint sample of the other color I was curious about, this kind of purpley mauve color. So here is one of John's favorite whiskeys. You can kind of see how the colors are playing together, but I still wasn't sure I was loving this direction. And so I tried to go in a completely different direction. This is a very nice olivey green that I hated. And so then I added some bright yellow. Oh, And I ended up with this. Yuck. Confused, upset, and finding every color completely barfy, I decided to put a pin in the bar. Sometimes you just need to step away and take a break. Here are some things that happened on my break from the bar. Well, I looked online for future projects. Here's a goblin-damaged, haunted Victorian sofa in need of upholstery. Here's an entire carload of plants I found listed for free. I'm clearly very excited about these plants. Ooh, here's Painterly getting packed up and delivered to her new owner. Bye, Painterly. I'll miss you. Ah, here's a Hobbit-inspired nightstand. All the while I was waiting for something to arrive in the mail that I had ordered. For you see, I had realized after looking at some really fun examples of Art Deco furniture that what I really wanted to use as inspiration for John's bar were the incredible and iconic Art Deco buildings of Miami Beach. Having grown up in the relatively cold and wet upstate New York, when John's family moved to the greater Miami area when he was a teenager, he remembers just being blown away by the colors and the music and the energy of Miami Beach. And so I took a little visit over to the Spoonflower website, where I knew I could find all kinds of incredible prints made by artists from around the globe. Spoonflower describes itself as a global marketplace connecting makers and artists worldwide. If you cannot find exactly what you are dreaming of there already, chances are you can work with an artist to design the printed fabric or wallpaper that you need. So when my Spoonflower shipment finally arrived, I was so excited, and I called John over to the workshop and we took a look at all of the options that I had curated for him. All of these prints are Art Deco inspired, and you can see I really went for it. We are going for a statement piece for sure. Now, it's also important to understand that at this point, I had decided I wasn't trying for John's bar to be a surprise for him. I really instead wanted to create a design together with him. And John, in his typically good-natured way, was willing to come on board with that. But working in a sort of pseudo-designer-client relationship can be uniquely challenging when you are married. And so what you are about to witness is what I lovingly call the delicate dance of a duo design decision.
I don't know.
Of a statement.
I've seen this in black, this in blue, or this with like
Maybe
this one.
that one.
Or one of these.
Yeah. But not sure which one is your favorite yet?
Do I have to decide?
Do you want me to decide? Do you want me to choose? Because that's okay if you want me to choose, but if it's for you.
Well, isn't that what a designer will do? They'll present options to their client, and then the client will like say, "Well, I like these three," and you pick. Is that a thing?
No.
No.
I think that the designer presents a few options that the person likes, and then the person picks.
Okay.
But you don't have to pick right now. You can marinate. Let it marinate.
Well,
Sometimes you need to marinate.
are we filming all this?
Are we?
Marination. Always a good option. And it led John to this gorgeous paper. This print's name is Brilliant Bisbee, and it is the creation of Danielle Eisminger of Deisminger Art Studio. You can find her fantastic design work over on the Spoonflower website. John and I took Brilliant Bisbee on a little field trip to Home Depot, where we searched until we found the perfect paint shade of a deep bluey violet purple to work with it. And then I decided to get that shade called Vintage Violet in an enamel paint by Behr. Ooh, this is going to be so much fun to work with. So, from all this design chaos, we are going to finally bring this thing into focus. I started by taping up our piece of design inspiration to the wall. Remember how John referred to the cabinet as a study in lines? Well, I absolutely love how this geometric paper plays off all of the lines that exist within the cabinet, including the curves of the legs and the bottom of the cabinet's body and that opposite curve on the center bar. I also took this opportunity to get out some geometric stencils I had on hand. I was kind of toying with perhaps doing something with them on the top of the piece. Ooh, now this could be interesting. All right, I think you've waited long enough. It was time to get to the painting. I poured out some paint into a plastic cup and started applying it to the crown trim with a square brush. So, why did I decide to use this paint in particular? Well, John had said that he thought a higher gloss sheen might be really nice on this piece, and I completely agreed with that. And I have been kind of wanting to try out this water-based enamel paint for a while, and so this seemed like a great opportunity to do just that. My understanding is that it is very tough, drying nice and hard and not requiring a top coat, which sounded especially fabulous at this point. With this piece being a blend of very old veneers and solid wood, I kind of liked the idea of a very robust paint, really helping to kind of lock it all in. And also, I knew I would enjoy the benefit of its very quick drying time. This paint is different from chalk paint in that you don't want to dilute it with water, and it is much looser than chalk paint. So drip marks are something you really want to be on the lookout for. Because the paint was so thin, I found that using a smaller artist brush like this one worked great for covering these thinner trim pieces and for getting into tighter areas like these corners. Okay, I think we need to have some fun that only stenciling can provide. I taped down this awesome geometric stencil, and then I applied the paint as thinly as I could. And then I kind of had a heck of a time trying to match this pattern up as I worked. Of course, it was a random pattern, and I'm sure no one else would have really even noticed if the little diagonal lines in the diamonds were slightly different. But I was feeling particularly mathy that day, and yes, that's a thing. And so I was determined to make this come out perfectly, which is ridiculous since it was in fact a random pattern. After everything had dried, I came along with a second coat of Vintage Violet. I want to tell you, I was kind of grooving on this paint. This color with its sheen, which was not really a high gloss, but more of a satin, it was just gorgeous. And here on these curved front panels, wow, it was just really looking great. I used my artist brush to bring the paint inside and around that original door latch, and then I prepped the glass door for painting. I gave it its first coat on the front and back, and then I gave the stenciled top a nice finish sanding, just to knock off any little bits of raised paint. And then I used that same fine grit rad pad to sand the body of the cabinet as well as the door, and then I gave the door and the cabinet another layer of paint. So for this spot here where it appears a strip of the burl wood veneer is missing, I went ahead and painted it. Maybe someday I will have the time to actually replace that with a new strip of veneer, or even replace all of the original veneer, but for now this will do just fine. Okay, it was finally time to measure the back of the cabinet and trim up Brilliant Bisbee. As many of you know, I am not the world's best wallpaperer. If you would like to see what it really is like when I wallpaper, here you go.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. See, you want to cooperate, friend. Get up there, get up there. Just roll right here. Just roll up. Just roll up. That's not rolling. Come on, baby, come on. There we go. There. You're just gonna be a super good sport, right? And you're gonna just go on there like I'm frosting a cake. Frosting the cake. Come on, baby. Come on. All right. We're okay. It's okay. It looks so good. Yes, I love it.
Yes, after all of that fussing, I can say that even with that tight opening I had to work with, this paper went on beautifully. Its quality was really what made all of the difference in the world. Okay, now it was finally time to give some love to that gorgeous base of the cabinet, and so I got out some Restore a Finish, which is actually a product that is really fabulous for helping out existing faded or scratched finishes, but I thought it would be perfect for the look that I wanted here on the base. It is oil-based and it contains just a small amount of stain, so although it's adding some color, it's also just giving a really nice natural luster to the wood. This shade is called Golden Oak, and I thought it would be a gorgeous complement to our paint color. You can see I just work it in to the wood with my lint-free rag, and then I come back and I wipe up any excess. I also added some to the ancient burlwood veneer, and you can see how it's just drinking that Restore Finish up. I added some to the inside of the cabinet as well, wherever the wood was a little bit scuffed or there was a little dry patch or a little scratch. Now, here in the front, obviously that Bondo repair is looking quite conspicuous. So I got out my repair paints again, and just using my finger, I blended them together a bit and then gently dabbed them on to help disguise that Bondo. Then it was finally time to reattach that door, and I decided I wanted to try out the old shelf. I put it into the cabinet and then I stood back and I looked at it. I was not loving it, I have to say. So I decided to take it out and think it over and consider my options. I really wanted to show John the bar though, so I went ahead and I added a pull, even though I was still waiting for another handle to arrive in the mail. And I got out some lighting options and decided that as fun as the multicolor one was, I would instead add this very streamlined light bar to the roof of the cabinet. It has a motion sensor setting that we can leave on and it will activate at night. Pretty cool, huh? All right, let's do a reveal for John, shall we?
Yeah. Are you ready to see?
Yeah, ready. Let's see it. Oh, wow. I love it. Wow, you did the top. That is awesome. Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
Do you like that?
I love it.
Do you like the
This is
detail?
amazing. God, that color is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that paper. It is so amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. So much. Thank you. Is it really mine? Ours.
It's really yours. That's all yours, honey.
Well, I think he really did love it, and when the handle arrived later that day, he helped me install it since my hands were a little bit sore, and I helped him by nervously hovering over him as he drilled. Oh, so helpful. Then I got out some quick wood filler and filled that original center hole, and once that had dried, I gave it a good sanding. A really good sanding, apparently. And I got back out the vintage violet paint and did a quick touch up on the door. Actually gave that a couple of coats. And then I added the new handle.
Oh, that feels really good.
Does it look good?
Yes. Yeah, this piece is just love it so much.
We did it!
We did it. We did it.
You helped.
So, just a few final little touches. I ordered this furniture shelf from Wise Owl in the scent Bourbon Vanilla. I figured that would be pretty appropriate. And I used it to seal up and give an added layer of protection to the top and to give the inside a fantastic scent and to seal up that gorgeous base as well. And then, do you remember that wooden shelf? Well, I had this custom glass shelf made, and I cannot wait for you to see this. So, do you remember from way back? 'Cause I barely do. Our perfectly proportioned, but chipped and cracked, with a Home Depot humdrum pull. Brown and boring on the outside as well as in. Well, here is this sexy dude now. Holy smokes! The bar seems to have come to life, almost crackling with energy. With lines like the Empire State Building, its architectural personality cannot be ignored. The sharp and sleek geometry of the top plays off the warm, curved wooden base that almost looks like well-worn saddle leather. While on the inside, brilliant Bisbee seems to hum and glow with actual electric flow, its ombre gold lines almost an optical illusion of energized circuits, and perfectly primed with a handle that looks as if it was born for the job. His original burlwood accents seem to glow with new life as well, like streams of liquid amber, perfectly complemented by his new vintage violet suit. Unique, celebratory, and frankly, kind of hot. When I looked at the finished bar, all of my anxieties and worries melted away. John told me that he thinks this is probably the nicest gift anyone has ever given him. So I couldn't ask for more.
This very special project was never about the numbers, but if you would like to know how much John's bar cost me out of pocket, here you go. The piece itself was $30. I spent $47 on the paint, but that is because I purchased a gallon. I had other reasons for doing that. Typically, it would have just been a quart, so I'm gonna plug in $23 because that's the cost of a quart. That piece of brilliant Bisbee was $33 and worth every penny, I think. Yeah, for the design punch that it gave us. The handle that looked like it had been designed with our paper was $4. And then I'm gonna add another good $30 for small amounts of wood filler, Bondo, glue, molding putty, restore finish, etc. Lots of little extras for this project, putting my total cost at $120.
Wait a minute, wasn't there something else?
Oh yeah, my biggest splurge of all, our custom-made 3/8 inch crystal clear sapphire something special glass shelf. Not the standard glass shelf material, because apparently you can get like a green tinge. So I sprang for the good stuff. That glass shelf cost us $200. Putting our actual total cost for the bar at $320.
That's an expensive shelf and totally worth it.
You know, I am glad you think so, because I completely agree. The glass shelf was actually your idea, and it was really a genius idea, because the design of that paper just completely energized the piece, the design of the piece, and that glass shelf the design is completely uninterrupted. It just flows, and when you're standing far back, you can't even see that there's a shelf. And then as you get up close, and if some light is coming in from a window or from a candle, something romantic, it sparkles and it kind of reflects and refracts, and it's just awesome. I never knew I could love a shelf so much. It's a special shelf.
Yeah,
Do you like your shelf?
I love it.
Okay, good. We hope that you enjoyed this very special Furniture Fables, me and my design partner here. I think we're both gonna really enjoy having that piece in the house for years to come. And I know we're always gonna treasure the story of how it was made.
Yes.
And now we need a new house, because the bar is too cool for our house.
So true.
Oh, you agree? He agreed. Thank you so much for joining us, my friends. We will see you next time for more Furniture Fables. Oh God, that's so weird that our grandkids are gonna watch this.
The great Yankees.
God. For small amounts of wood filler, Bondo, glue, molding putty. I said potty.
I don't think so.
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay.
Putty. Putty. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're like, yeah. Don't like, look relaxed.
And relax.
I just have to relax more than you then.
Okay.
And I'm like this.
Yeah, right. You're performing.
It's just, I'm so long-waisted and I have a long neck. I'm like a swan.
Okay. I know you are. I'm like a seagull.
You're like a seagull. You're not like a seagull.
Go ahead.
My glasses are steaming up now.
Should I delete all this?
The most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm ready.
It's so weird that you're sitting next to me doing this right now.
Yeah, that's...
Okay. Okay, here we go. I have to start over.